Following the Spanish Grand Prix, there's one question on everybody's minds. Is Mercedes back? After a superb race from Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, the grid is abuzz with talk of reigniting the rivalry between the Silver Arrows and the untouchable Red Bull. Let's talk about it. After a disappointing campaign in 2022, Mercedes faced initial difficulties in the 2023 season while experimenting with their zero sidepod concept. However, they made a strategic shift and implemented significant revisions to their package. These updates were unveiled in Monaco, although the track's unique characteristics limited the insights gained. The true test came in Barcelona, where Mercedes emerged as the closest competitors to Red Bull in terms of race performance. Hamilton managed to transform his starting position of 4th on the grid into a second-place finish, trailing only Max Verstappen. He skillfully overtook Lance Stroll's Aston Martin and Carlos Sainz's Ferrari early in the race. Meanwhile, George Russell made an impressive climb from 12th on the grid to secure a spot on the podium, outpacing Sergio Perez's Red Bull to the finish line. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner acknowledges the impressive progress made by Mercedes during the Spanish Grand Prix. He anticipates that the Silver Arrows will continue to pose a formidable challenge as the season progresses. When questioned about Mercedes' progress and whether it is a cause for concern, Horner responded with a smile before saying, "They were still 24 seconds behind at the end of the race. They made a good step. I think that we've got some stuff in the pipeline. They've had a big upgrade. We've got some bits coming later into the season. But look, for sure, a big step. They're a quality team. And for sure they're going to be putting us under pressure in the second half of the year." Regarding the current Formula 1 pecking order at this stage of the season, Horner further commented that, "Well, the form's moving around. You look at Lando's lap. The Mercedes looked strong in the race. The Ferraris didn't have the pace that we thought they might. The form behind us does seem to be moving around quite a lot at the moment, so it's difficult to predict who's going to be where at which event." Unlike Horner, Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko has cast doubt on Mercedes' performance after their double podium finish at the Spanish Grand Prix. Marko asserts that despite Mercedes' new upgrades, they have not closed the gap to the Red Bull team. When asked by OE24 about the possibility of Mercedes posing a significant threat to Red Bull, Marko didn't seem to be worried, saying, "The updates from our competitors have only brought a shift in positions. Without wanting to sound arrogant, they haven't really come any closer to us. They have just been alternating, and that's good for us because our lead in the championship is getting bigger with each race." Max Verstappen remained confident that he could achieve the fastest lap of the Spanish Grand Prix without incurring a penalty, despite his Red Bull team advising against it. The Dutch driver accomplished a remarkable feat in Barcelona, achieving a Grand Slam, which marked the 3rd time in his Formula 1 career. Verstappen secured pole position, led the race from start to finish, and ultimately set the fastest lap near the end. Despite being cautioned against pursuing this achievement, as he had already received a black and white flag for exceeding track limits multiple times during the race, Verstappen still went for it. Verstappen's persistent pursuit of the fastest lap was a risky move considering he was already on the verge of incurring a 5-second time penalty with another offense. Recognizing this, his race engineer Gianpiero Lambiase advised Verstappen to prioritize maintaining a clean race rather than chasing the fastest lap. However, the determined defending champion decided to push ahead and secured the top position on the fastest lap timesheets without receiving a penalty. Nevertheless, Christian Horner hinted that the matter would be addressed following the conclusion of the race. He said, "He and his engineer have a relationship like an old married couple. You could hear them talking over the radio, almost like arguing over which channel shall we watch. Having had 3 strikes, the next one was a time penalty, and if there was a safety car or something like that, that could have been extremely painful. The engineer's trying to manage Max and say, 'Don't take any risks, bring it home and keep it between the lines.' Max, I think he wasn't aware he was exceeding the limits, and he just wanted that extra point for the fastest lap. He's in the car and he knows. Of course we'll talk about it. In a situation where there was more to lose than that, then we'd talk about it very firmly. All we can do is pass on the information, and what he chooses to do with that information, he's in control of that." Verstappen echoed his team boss's sentiments during the post-race interview with reporters, expressing his confidence that he wouldn't incur a penalty despite his pursuit of the fastest lap. He explained that he maintained his position within the track limits and simply pushed for a quicker lap time. According to Verstappen, he didn't violate any regulations and believed that he had done nothing wrong. They don't know how much pace I have in the car, right? When they tell me, this is the fastest lap, don't bother. But I knew that I could do it. So yeah, I just had to keep it within the white lines, but this is something I think we can laugh about already. I was laughing about it with Helmut after the race, so I'm pretty sure that they're quite happy. Fernando Alonso has issued a cautionary message to Max Verstappen, reminding him that success in Formula 1 can vanish as swiftly as it arrives, despite Verstappen's current dominance in the sport. Verstappen appears to be on track to surpass Alonso's number of world championships as he strives for his third title. However, Alonso, drawing from his own experiences, understands the unpredictable nature of the sport, where one can go from being at the pinnacle of success to facing challenges in the blink of an eye. Even with Red Bull's current strong position, Alonso acknowledges the ever-changing dynamics of Formula 1, saying, "Until the regulations change in 2026, Red Bull will contend for the championships, so there will be many chances for Max to win races. He is young, the calendar is longer than ever before, with 24 opportunities to win every year, so we can break the records along the way. But there are also no guarantees. When I won 2 championships, I thought I would win a few more and have a lot of wins, so Max cannot relax, because things can change quickly." Alonso warned both Max Verstappen and his own Aston Martin team, reminding both that 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton will not remain in the background for an extended period. Lewis will be in contention for the 8th title, the Spaniard said. "I don't know if that will be next year or in the future, but he will have another chance of winning the championship, that is for sure. Mercedes are a very strong team, and Lewis is a very strong driver. He doesn't forget how to drive from one season to the next. The Mercedes car is not an easy one to drive, and it is not a fast car, but you see every weekend that Lewis is always there. 4th, 5th, 4th, and he was 2nd in Australia. He is driving on top of the car." After claiming victory in 2 out of the first 4 races of the 2023 season, Sergio Perez emerged as a potential contender for the title, closing the gap to Verstappen. However, Perez's hopes were dashed in Monaco when he encountered a disastrous weekend, and in Spain, Perez faced another difficult qualifying session, starting from 11th on the grid. Despite the setback, he displayed resilience and managed to recover to a 4th-place finish in the race. Meanwhile, Verstappen triumphed in both the Monaco and the Spanish events, further widening the gap between the Red Bull drivers to 53 points. Horner acknowledges that while a title challenge may appear less realistic for Perez at this stage, a solid performance in Barcelona will provide him with a bit of motivation. He said, "I think for him, that'll give him a lot of confidence coming out of this. He has had a difficult Monaco, difficult Saturday here, a stronger Sunday, and I think that looking at the gap now between the 2 drivers, which is pretty significant, in many respects that will take pressure off his shoulders, and I think that'll allow him just to now relax, not put pressure on himself, and just refine the form that he had in those early races. I think that we know what Checo is capable of. We've seen in races like Azerbaijan and Saudi already this year, what he's capable of doing, and I'm sure he'll refine that form in the near future. What do you think? Is Mercedes finally equipped to race Red Bull? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell for the hottest F1 news.